Okay, I'll show you with an example. Let's find f of g of 3. Okay, and I'll use this diagram to show you how that works. So let's say I took 3 and use it as my input. Okay, so 3 goes in as x. I add 3 to 6, and I get how much? 9. Okay, that then becomes the input of f. Okay, so then I put in 9 for f, and out pops 36. Right? Oops. Out pops 36. Okay, so you find the y value of this inside function first, and then that becomes the x value of the outer function. Following?
Yeah, I followed you before, but now I'm confused with the 3.
With the 3? I just chose 3 at random. So I just chose a random number for x, so 3, right? Put that into the inside function first. So that's add 6. Okay, that gives you 9, right? That 9 is the output of g, and it becomes the input of f.
Okay, I got it now, yeah.
Okay, so then you put 9 in for this x here, multiply by 4, and you get 36. You could do it all in one shot by using this function h of x that we had found before, right? The 4x plus 24. If you just put in 3 right into there, notice what would happen. You would get 36 still. 12 plus 24 is 36, right? So this composed function that we created, it kind of does it all in one shot. But to show how that point is created as you transition from g to f, this diagram shows that a little bit better. Make sense?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. Good. So this would be 36. Let's try with f of g of negative 6. Okay? So again, all this means is f of g of negative 6. So you find g of negative 6 first, whatever that equals, and then put that into f of x and figure out what that equals. Okay? So let's do that using the flow chart here. So we put in negative 6 for x. Add 6. What do you get? 0. That becomes the input of f of x. 4 times 0 is 0. So the output should be 0. Right? And again, if you use h of x, if we used instead negative 6, notice what happens. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24, plus 24, you get 0. So there's 2 ways to do that. Okay, so this would equal 0. Good? Okay. So we're going to compose a few other functions here. Just we're going to write the equations, that's all. Because it can be a little bit tricky to see it at first. And hopefully with a little bit of practice, you'll develop the eye for how to do this. So we're going to write 3 functions. I'll do them in different colors. So I'll do h here in green. I'll do j in blue. And then k in red. Okay. So let's start with h of x first. That's f open dot g of x. Okay. And so that just means f of g of x. So wherever I see x in f, I replace it with g of x. Okay. So f of x in this case is the absolute of x. Right? So h of x would be the absolute of, can you get it? Wherever I saw x previously, I replace it with g.
Absolute x plus 1.
So it would be the absolute of x plus 1. Good job. Right? Maybe I'll write that in a different color here. X plus 1. That's g of x right there. And it's being composed inside of f. Okay, so again, wherever I see x in my previous function, I replace it with that. Good? Okay, so that's all we have to do for creating the function at least. J is interesting. What was I going to do? Blue? So j of x, you have f composed inside of itself, which you can definitely do. Okay, so how would that work?
Would it just be like double the number?
It would be the absolute of x, which is a little bit overkill, but it works. The absolute of x, right? Wherever I saw x in my previous function, I replace that with the absolute of x. Right? I'm composing f inside of itself, which gives some really weird things. Actually, this would just still be the absolute of x, because the moment you absolute a number, that makes it positive, and you just do it again, and it makes it positive again, but it was already positive, so it's super positive. So this, I guess that you could just rewrite it as that again, and you would still be right. Does that make sense? Okay. And then here's a triple doozy going on here. But we just follow what we'd been doing all along. Okay, so k of x, we're going to have f open.g open.f of x, and what we're going to do is we're going to...
Fog off.
Sure. So there's lots of brackets going on here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take g. We're going to do this portion here first. Take g and put f in wherever x was. And then take that and put it inside of f. Does that make sense? So I'll show you how that looks here. So we start with g. That's x plus 1. And wherever I used to see x in my previous function, I replace it with f. So this would actually be the absolute of x.
So then you place all that in the
And then you put all of that inside of f.
which is absolute of x.
So this would be the absolute of x plus 1. And that's it, right?
But couldn't you take out the end with both absolutes on either end because it's plus 1?
Yeah, you could. That's a good observation. Yeah, if I absolute a number, that makes it positive. I add 1, still positive. So these brackets are unnecessary.